Does that work better? I think we've got sound now. All right. What's this on a Friday? Anyone there? Woohoo! We've got someone dropping in. How you doing, guys? I expect a lower turnout today because maybe people have things to do on a Friday. Sorry for not being able to stream on the Thursday. I was on fairly short notice. I went on a birthday cinema visit with my son and my whole family. Hello, guys. Woo! The usual suspects are dropping in. Okay, let's see. 9 concurrent. Nice. I'm just gonna... Should I send another Discord mention out? Maybe I should. I said I wouldn't, but then I'm thinking maybe I should. Since I'm not even in the Discord so often. I cannot be accused of spamming in my own Discord anyway, that's for sure. Let's send out a link here. All right, I see Hardcore Crew joining in. Ola, Jetgrove, Jetlund, welcome. Andreas Brillen, Bidet, Karthi Maharaj, can't say it, but welcome. Off the Rails, Diego, Itali, Juan with an X, Juan. Diego, Stella, Ghosty Fab, Motorcycle. Oh, motorcycle as well. Nice. Makes me want to go back on my motocross. I haven't been on it for nearly 3 years since my little get off now. I was going to not go on it again until the COVID was over. That was the idea. Someone, hello. Sam McLean, Axel. Nice one. Go Can. All right, I'm going to send one tweet out here. So, what's my URL for the stream? Let's check it out. Get shareable link. Okay, I'm gonna say what I'm writing now. So, at everyone. Someone had named themselves everyone in my own Discord. So when I tried to tweet everyone yesterday, I sent it to one person. I said I wasn't going to say this again, but I will anyway. I'm live now on my YouTube channel. Join me. Whoa, there we go. Oh, you want to send 1,358 plus people. Well, if it was 1,358 plus, wouldn't you just say 1,359, for example, if it was one more? Why the plus sign if you don't round it? There we go. I'm going to check out the chat. I'm just going to let people join and realize that this is going on, and we'll see what we're going to have here. So let's see. We've got Mia PC as well coming out. Titanium. Sorry if I'm not mentioning everyone now. Hello. Only Kemal. Captain Arvid even made it. Wow. On a Friday as well. Not too late, I hope, for you. Oh, yeah. Okay, so... yeah, I should have pinged anyway. Some more people dropping in now. So it's time for an official... welcome. I want to go back into my live stream panel here. Dashboard. I'm going to turn down the volume a bit. Okay, I managed to go away from my stream here. How do I get back to my stream management? Go live. I'm already live. It's nice how I come in. I can join my own live stream, but I can't get the thing up into my where I was before. Maybe the back button will work, will it? Studio. Come on, don't fail me now. Surely I must be able to get back into the... There we go. Haha, made it. All right, we got a few more people joining in. So, 74 people on a Friday. Maybe I should change it to a Friday. It's official. Hello everyone and welcome to another Thursday, I was going to say, but it's not. It's Friday today. And for anyone who didn't join yesterday, it's for all good reasons. My son turned 12 yesterday and we decided to go to the cinema. So we booked ourselves a cinema ticket. Well, the whole family did. And we went there and checked out a film. Bit over the top, I watched Moonfall. I like space movies and I like... I'm not going to spoil anything, so but it was fun, amusing to watch. So I hope everyone's doing good, and I'm honored that you guys and girl is joining me on a Friday stream. I'm sure you have better things to do. Ha! Maybe not. I don't. I'm sitting down here as usual anyway. So, all right. Hope you've all had a good week so far. And I will say this, and I hope you're going to have a great weekend. I'm pretty sure I will as well. I'm going to be well, working a lot because it's a very busy weekend this weekend. Pardon me. Let's check out if anyone just confirm whether this sounds all right, because I'm a bit just out of the blue here, launching everything to get it scheduled. Just did a reboot as well, my monthly reboot of my computer. Oh yeah, 10-minute challenge. That might wake up again. You never know. Dude, when you want to make tutorials, RTS game for Unity? Well, that's a good question. Tutorials for a whole RTS game would be really tricky. It took us 3 years so far to do Linewar. Sounds good. Nice. We have nothing better to do, Imphenzia. That's great. Well, I'm very happy about that. So, okay. Today is going to be a bit of a mix on the stream. I'm going to be just chilling a little bit, but there's a few things I want to talk about. First of all, there was a press release that went out for Linewar, because we're going to participate with our real-time strategy game Linewar in Steam Next Fest. So if you haven't seen that, we're actually going to have, it's a bit scary because we're going to release the game to play for free for a lot of people who wants to join. And Linewar is a bit special in that whole bunch of Steam Next Fest games, because I think most games are single player, and we have a server backend, and we really want to run the game on a server backend because anti-cheat and a good user experience altogether. We want to keep control that when people match up against each other, we want to guarantee. Well, we can never guarantee, but it's a very limited attack surface to cheat on the if we run the service at least. They can't speed up the game. They can't do things like that. So should be pretty good. But it's a bit scary because a lot of people might join. Maybe no one will join. We will find out. It's going to be very exciting anyway. But I thought I'm going to show, because with that press release that just went out not long ago, if you Google Linewar, you might even see it. But I'm going to check out. I made a new commercial for it. And I was going to show you guys that one. So this time I'm not going to forget to actually maximize my stream window here. And let's check this out. I wanted to play this one so you can see. So you're going to watch the most freshest trailer now of Linewar. So this game I've been making with Christian. He's a good friend of mine now, and we've been working on this game for 3 years nearly. Can't believe how fast time is flying. We've come a long way, and it's going to be released on Steam this spring now. So here's a trailer anyway. Let's check it out. You can have a look. It's about 2 minutes and 15 seconds long. So, and I'm narrating this myself. We're going to get a narrator, a voiceover artist, but I just decided to do it myself as a placeholder, but we just kept it. So let's go for it. Check it out. Linewar trailer, fresh.
We are Studio Centurion, a team of 2 developers and creators of Linewar. We are making a new multiplayer strategy game where you draw visual commands to control units. It will take some getting used to, but when you get the hang of it, you can execute strategies, coordinate operations, and play in new exciting ways. You never click on units, instead you draw points, lines, and paths. Units will follow your commands. Set directives to move, engage, or defend. Linewar is carefully balanced. Units have a distinct role on the battlefield. Having only one faction makes it easy for everyone to understand and play against each other. There are only 2 resources, and they are equally important. Capital is your economy. Earn it by conquering territories, building economic structures, and establishing trade routes. Energy powers your tanks, sea and air units. Without energy, you become immobilized. You can checkmate your opponent by taking out his refineries and energy depots. Worlds are asymmetric and procedurally generated. Balance is achieved through a unique picking phase. It's a game within the game to identify the best starting location. Explore and conquer the world, make good use of terrain, construct buildings, build your army, use stealth units to evade detection, drop behind enemy lines, and eliminate your opponent. Save up for devastating rockets and wipe out your enemy to accelerate the endgame. In our roadmap, we have technologies, 2v2, 3v3, and free-for-all game modes, single-player modes, and much more. The simplicity of resources, the traditional militaristic units, and the visual command system makes Linewar accessible to any strategy player coming from RTS, 4X, war games, and board games.
All right, so that was it. That was our trailer, and mostly gameplay trailer now because we can't really afford to employ anyone who's doing all the cinematic stuff. Plus, we need to come up with a bit of a storyline and some stuff. But that was exciting. It's going to be so fun to launch this game. It's going to take it to a whole new level, though, of supporting the back end. We've got some alpha testers to care about now if we need to deploy a new build or reboot. So it's going to be fun when people are actually paying for the early access game version, and we have to be a little bit more careful. But we've got pretty good routine now. Yes, I'm from Sweden, Kalebanka. I like your name. It's like Donald Duck for anyone who doesn't know, but with a little twist on the duck there. It's like, all right. So let's go for it. Okay, and that was maybe I should show this one. So a lot of stuff happening in the Linewar. Been pushing plenty of hours into there to get everything ready. I had to register the whole game build for the Steam Next Fest. So again, wishlist this game if you haven't already, even if you're not going to buy it. But let's just pretend that you're really interested in it, because wishlisting helps us a lot. So it'd be really good if you could do it. So just Google or search on Steam for Linewar. Check that out. Okay, what else? So Linewar taking up a lot of time, and let's see now. We're doing what should I do next? Two more things I want to mention before we start to do the creative stuff, and that is this weekend, starting right now, I'm going to be modeling. I think a lot of people, or I might have some people dropping in now from NeoNexus as well. I'm freelancing a lot when it comes to modeling, and it's opened up. Running this channel has opened up quite a lot of doors because developing the game, we've been doing that for full time, and being an indie developer, it doesn't really generate any income. So it's a quite exciting challenge to spend 3 years on building a game. And the YouTube channels has helped me a lot, even though I live in Sweden, so there's a lot of taxes and things like that. But it's helping with so thanks to everyone who's supporting the stream, who's supporting my YouTube channel. Really, really helpful. And also a big thanks to all my Patreons. So it would have been a real big struggle unless I had you guys to help me out on that front. And on top of the Linewar game, even though we're releasing it in a few months, I've been doing some freelancing lately, and having the YouTube channel is opened up a few doors. So I used to work as an IT security consultant, and that usually requires that I go to customers and I spend a lot of time there, and I set up their systems, or I write a lot of architectural documents, and I speak to a lot of people, coordinate people. So the cloud people can implement security, and they'll speak to the network people, and we have the endpoint security parts, and so that used to be my everyday. But now with the YouTube channel, it's actually helped a lot to. I've had a lot of contact attempts to contact, because a lot of freelancing jobs and gigs are presenting themselves. Everything from game development to I've been doing some modeling for nuclear power plants and stuff like that. So translating CAD stuff into 3D. So it's been a really good thing to have the YouTube channel to actually get those type of freelance jobs. And most recently, well, in November, I spent a lot of time. I've contacted by some NFT campaigns, and I actually, in contrary to some people, I actually really like the fact that there's a way for artists to do freelancing, doing something they love, and actually make some money on that in the process. So I've teamed up a lot with Unlock DeFi recently. And for anyone who hasn't seen, I've done about 2,000, 3,000 properties, so digital little buildings, and that fits my glove. I was going to say, right up my alley, right down my street. I forget how you say it. But it's worked out really good because I can lock myself down here in the basement and I'll spend like a week and day and night pretty much modeling and automating a lot of stuff because I like to do scripting. So I've come up with a workflow that I can model quite a lot of buildings, about 2,000 of them, and have some automation going there. So Python scripting in Blender. It's been a really a bit of a saver as well to be able to do this on the side while developing the indie game. So, and I was going to show here. So for anyone who hasn't seen this, I haven't actually spoken too much about it on my channel at all. Been doing this in parallel. So if I switch to my screen share, I can show as an example here. So here are some of those that are on sale on second. That have been purchased in the past, and then they're sold on something called Magic Eden. So all of these buildings here are modeled by me. There are about 2,000 residential buildings in this first wave. I spent a lot of time in October, November. I had to take some time off Linewar, so I could really work a lot on developing all of these buildings here. So they're all animated, they spin around. Using Eevee renderer to render a lot of these, so it's I think like 1 million frames rendered or something, and it's a lot of fun because it's been such a creative outlet. So I'll just start up Blender, I'll sit down, I'll start to create like a base thing, I'll create a block, I'll add, and then just the imagination. You just go, okay, how about some stones over here? How about some pillars over here? I'll put some banners here, canopies, balconies, lights, solar panels, let's see, sculptures, some police officers here, docking bays for spaceships. Here's a spaceship on top here. Here's some weird building as well with different floors. Here's a signature tree. Oh, it's even called the Stefan Nebula. So this one is got a signature golden tree here, quite rare, by the way. So been spending some time doing this, and I also did it's been a lot of fun because I managed to point some people from my Discord to help out as well, and maybe there are going to be some more opportunities in the future for that, but currently I'm doing another set of these buildings, and I've got to try to be finished with a lot of them on Sunday, so it's going to be a mad dash now to do that. But I really enjoy it. It's some people would probably think it's really repetitive, but I actually like it a lot. So with that said, I'm also doing another thing, and that's so I've learned a tremendous amount in this whole process. So when I teamed up with Unlock DeFi, it's a collection of amazing people actually that I've really got together. About 25 people, I think, globally, widespread, all got together, and I was contacted by them in October to join this project as the 3D modeler, and got some incredible people there running the promotional stuff, the Discord, and not to mention all the technical stuff, because getting these stuff out there isn't maybe as simple as some think. I know there's a lot of media hype now saying that, oh, it's easy to just create some stuff and sell it, but it doesn't really work like that. It's a really big effort that goes into this whole thing to get it to fly. So it's been a lot of work, but a lot of fun. So, to team up with them, I've learned a lot of stuff in the process. So I'm actually going to do a little attempt to release some of the stuff that I've been working on for the past half year as well. Some of you might have seen it. I showed a little bit on my last stream, I think. But if you check these out, these are actually my Imphenzia low poly characters that you might have seen me doing in the past. So here's a little promo video. It's going to be changed for the official release. It's actually happening on this Sunday, so that's quite exciting. So let's get the screen share going again. Bring some desktop audio. And here's just my characters then. So Imphenzia's Misfits, they're called, and we're actually going to release these now to those who are interested. So let's check it out. All right, that was a short preview. Got to change a little bit for that before the release. But it's been a big project. So I modeled it's about 65 base characters with all the props and stuff, and I've automated everything, and it's been a lot of work setting everything together. But basically, all the characters use the same armature, and they can all interchange the weapons with each other, and all the outfits that they've got. They can put on any equipment on their heads, for example, as you might have seen. Different helmets and backpacks, and there's like a hot dog thing, or nunchucks, or a barbecue, firefighter, pilot, ejection seat, everything like that. So everything is pretty much interchangeable, and it's been a really fun and exciting project to learn how to get this working all together. And it's a collection of 10,000 of these that we're actually going to release onto the Solana blockchain and as NFTs. And it's starting on this Sunday. And I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. So if you're not interested in that, don't feel obligated to go and have a look at it. But if you are interested in it, you should check it out. Because I think there's a lot of stuff to learn this. And this is partly why I've been so engaged in actually doing this. I want to help a lot of game developers in the future. Because I think whoever learns a little bit about this now is actually going to have a bit of a head start further down the line. So I know there's a lot of hype now, and there's a lot of people trying to scam in the scene, but there's also a lot of there's a lot of technological progress being made with the whole blockchain infrastructure and everything that goes on. So I think I really want to try to help people get a peek into it and learn how to develop and create. I think it's a great way for artists to actually create things and sell it there themselves. And for a change, it's actually possible to make a bit of a living on selling art as an artist, or even some technological things that you can use these tokens for other things. So I'm excited about this, and we're actually, with the whole characters, with the Misfits, there's a game development company that's working on a game at the moment to implement these characters. And once these sell, there's a bit of a roadmap on imisfits.io, but I know I've been really silent in the Discord server and everything like that, and we had the monthly challenge that we started last year. But hopefully this will be able to fund people that are interested to do game development. I want to really try to take some of the proceeds and channel that back into the community, so game developers can learn how to integrate with blockchain and NFTs. And there could be some funding that I could be possibly providing to help support anyone who wants to learn that. Because, as I said, I think it's going to be a good head start. Maybe not super useful in the gaming industry right today because it's so turbulent, and there's a lot of hate for anyone who mentions the word NFTs in the gaming. Companies are having to back out of the normal cancel culture type of thing, saying, oh, we didn't mean it like that or anything. But I think it's just a matter of time before the technology adapts itself and matures. And I think it's going to be very common in the future for games to actually implement that technology. And it's going to evolve. It's going to change over the years. But it's like when the internet came anyway, people are saying, oh, that's rubbish. I'd rather be on a bulletin board system, or I'd rather be offline. But time progresses, and there we are. We're all using the internet in the end. So I think it's a matter of time. So, all right, let's have a look. I'm going to check out I'm interested to see the chat history now. I'm going to look for @Imphenzia. If anyone wants to ask me a question, give me an @ sign so I can actually spot, because there's been a lot of stuff in the chat here. So let's check out. Okay, someone wants me to make a tutorial on how to avoid Swedish taxes. Unfortunately, I have no idea how to do that. I pay way too many taxes. That would have been nice. It would have been nice if the taxes actually went to something that was really good, but the school's crap here where I am. It's really bad, unfortunately. So there, and so is the healthcare. So I don't know where the money's going. Let's check it out. So @Imphenzia, if you want to, Rocky. Hey Imphenzia, love you, man. Well, love you right back. Rocky, one of my favorite movies. Well, was it? I just liked it back in the day. All right, let's check out @Imphenzia. Draco, welcome. I'm good, thanks. How are you? Nice to see you. Thank you for being this level of awesome in a terrible world we live in, Minxy Minx. Well, you're welcome. I try my best. I want to stay positive. I want to be open to all sorts of stuff, everything that comes to creative stuff, game development, art, 3D modeling, sounds, music, everything. So fun. Great. Where are you from? I'm from Sweden, and that's where I'm living right now. So I was asking before if there will be a single-player campaign or something like that in Linewar. It will be at some point. We're going to do, let's see now, for early access, we have to do the multiplayer because it's nearly to develop like half another game to implement the AI to simulate as a player. So we want to nail down all the game mechanics first, but it's going to come towards the end of our early access. That's going to be it. So we got what's happening there? So I was just going to read Michael's message, but it was retracted, so I'm not going to be able to. Oh yeah, so Section 230 had a good idea. Imphenzia, avoid Swedish taxes, move countries. Yeah, we've been looking at that actually. I wouldn't mind moving to. I think my only criteria is English-speaking country. My wife comes from England, so and my kids speak English already because she speaks English to them. So I wouldn't mind moving somewhere. I want to go. I lived in the US for a year. I lived in England for 4 years. I've been to New Zealand, been to Australia, never been to South Africa, never been to Canada. All right, let's have a look. Some more questions. I'm going to do some more questions before I start modeling here, so let's check it out. Can you make a game in Blender, Todd said. Well, it used to be a game engine inside the Blender. I hope they took it away because I don't really see the point in that. It's a really good 3D modeling and compositing and rendering software, so I don't really see why they need to stick a game engine in there. There are so many good ones out there, so I don't think you should. I think you should use another game engine, actually. Let's see, Mr. Tom Tesalat, just a hint again. In your trailer, you said one has to get used to the controls. It makes sounds the controls being work. Well, okay. It's just that we're in Linewar. You control everything so different. You used to be able to just in every strategy game, as far as I know, you pretty much like drag select a bunch of units. You mark them and you say you're gonna go there, you're gonna go there, attack there, move, attack, move, attack. But the whole point with Linewar is that you draw these, imagine you're watching a documentary for like a World War II film or something like that, and you're seeing like the Allies came this way and they pushed forward across this, with this like 4 different paths, and then you had defensive lines and you had some rendezvous points over here. So the whole idea with Linewar is that you draw these type of commands and set which type of units should listen to those commands, and then they'll follow whatever you want. But it's just that it's going to be a bit of a learning curve for people that start out because you're so used to be able to just select a bunch of characters and move them somewhere, or some units. I'm speaking characters now. So I think as long as people can get past that initial like rethink how you play it, it's always difficult pushing some new boundaries like that. But when I play the game now with my co-dev, for example, or any of the alpha testers, I have so much fun. And I'm not just saying that because I made it, because a lot of games that I made are really boring to play. I'm still learning game design. But this game, if you get past that and you start to really enjoy and see what you can do, because when you start to like form defensive line, you'll send like troop ships, you'll paradrop at the same time, you'll do somewhere else in the world, you'll have another defensive line, you might do a tank push, and then in the lower southwest corner of the world, there's like a naval battle, and you'll set up maybe you'll like direct your submarines to take things out. So I think people will really start to, when they figure out how it works, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I've implemented some new camera controls as well, by the way. So there's 4 different ways to pan the camera now. All right, Stella, is there a way to, I should read it slower. So Stella is saying, is there a way to bring the bevel borders along with the mesh exported into Unity? Okay, yeah, I did miss when you asked that. Well, I usually just bevel them manually, and then they're part of the mesh, but I'm guessing you're using the bevel modifier. And if that's the case, you could probably tick like an export box to say apply modifiers before exporting, maybe. Hopefully that will apply the bevels for the export. Not sure, probably have to test it out. All right, so do you have a tutorial for making buildings look metal and having that cool sci-fi shine on them? Yes, I can do, actually. Because I'm actually modeling stuff right now. And that's what this video is going to be a little bit about now. Because I'm doing, like I said, my goal is to model 500 buildings by the end of Sunday. So that's quite a big task, to be honest. Even if I've done a lot of speed modeling, it takes time, and I'm not modeling all the 500 individual ones, but I'm modeling modularity-wise, so they can all be combined. For example, if you'll have this building here, for example, it's got some extra stuff here. So let's bring, as an example, here. let's minimize this a little bit. Because I wanted to speak about the asset browser, which I've just started to use today. It's really going to be a big help, I think. So your question was how to get the metallic shine, and what I've done is I'm running in order to get the performance for the Eevee rendering. I really have to to get the performance to rendering like nearly 1 million frames. I really need to run Eevee instead of Cycles. Cycles just too slow. And in order to get the shininess, this one is in particular isn't really that shiny. But let's change this whole thing. Let's save this first. I'll change it to another material here, and this one looks a lot more shiny. And to get the shiny look, this is rendering in lower quality now. That's why it might be some artifacts and stuff like that. But the main thing to get the shine is when you run Eevee render, I'm using here screen space reflection. You need to enable. So when you do that, and then in the compositing, let's see, I should have. Oh, don't I have that set up here so much? I thought I did. Maybe not. Okay, apparently not. But that's the main thing. So check out screen space reflections for Eevee rendering. And then for the materials, if I go to shading, we can look here. Just ramp up this metallic here. So rendered. For that material. So metallic there is what controls the reflectiveness. Don't go too high. It's not so good. So that's how you do that. Let's check out. Oh, skip my question. Null script. Sorry. Did I miss something? Let's check it out. I'll scroll up and see if you put my name on it. If you put my name on it, there we go. Null script. Imphenzia. Started learning Blender from your tutorials for anyone who's not up with the lingo. Since then, I moved onto HardOps and Box Cutter machine tools for Blender. Have you ever used them? They took my modeling to the next level. I looked at Box Cutter a long time ago, and I haven't really used it since. I think it's maybe 3 years ago since I looked at it. But good, I'm actually going to take these and copy them and check out those after, because it's been a while since I used them, so I'll check them out again. It's nearly like what I said about with Linewar, that you have to get used to some things, because even when I started to use Blender, I came from a little bit of use of 3ds Max, and getting used to how Blender worked was a pain. I tried about 5 times to get used to the workflow, but when you finally get it, it's really nice. And I think it's the same when you start moving to some of these tools like the box cutter and stuff. In the first, I found it to be probably powerful, but when you can't really do exactly what you want straight away, you get a little bit impatient. But I should definitely give it another good attempt or a good go. So let's switch this material back. I actually used the floor material for this building. So some dev stuff. What's the first thing you created in Blender? Should I be able to think about this? So I did some cars and stuff in 3ds Max and road. I think it was road segments, similar to the low poly racer. I think I did a bunch of road segments. That was the first thing I did in Blender. So Drunkle Ben is asking, I don't know if it's a previous question to this one. Let's see. If you're asking about this project, this is it's a project called NeoNexus, and it's a whole bunch of NFT buildings that I'm freelancing to do a lot of the work. I'm having a lot of fun creating these. Actually, it's so nice. I'm really happy and fortunate to be able to be connected with that team. Oh crap! I'm showing my face, aren't I? Yeah. How can I not get these things? This is like the 10th time that I've done this. I must be getting stupid or something. I've been speaking and showing stuff onto my stream, and I'm not even picking up that. Oh well. Let's redo this. I think someone Paul did not see your screen. Jim even paid me 50 kroner. Thanks, Jim, for the super chat. I owe you 100 kroner now. Sorry guys. Let's do it. It's Friday. I've been awake too long. Okay, let's redo it. I'm going to talk a little bit about this. So, this, my friends, is what I was talking about. If you've been listening to me for the past 10 minutes and wondering, what am I going about? Why are you looking at my face, looking down on the computer? never mind. This is the type of building anyway that I'm working on. So let's recap. Someone asked how I got the shiny look on the buildings, and what I was trying to say then before is that it's just the screen space reflection that I've enabled for the Eevee renderer. So if I go to, let's see, under here, did show it somewhere. There's a render layer somewhere. Here we go. I hope you can see my screen this time. So screen space reflection is what I enabled. And then when you've set that one in your material, I'm just double checking. Yeah, I'm definitely showing now. So in my material, if you drag just the metallic slider, that screen space reflection should really work to get the metallic look onto the buildings. But I was actually dragging the wrong floor. So let's pick that building, change it to another material here. There. And then ramp up there. Then it turns a little bit dark now, but that's how you get those reflections going in Eevee. So I'll switch that back to floor. And what I was trying to say before as well, apparently when I didn't show it, is that I'm going to be spending a lot of time modeling these type of buildings now. So, and I'm starting to use the asset browser, which is a great improvement with version 3.0 from my previous workflow actually. So it's been really, really good I'm just starting to get used to it now, and it's going to be a really good time saver, I think. It's still some improvement to be made. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a second. So let's have a look. Jen said, do you need your wife or someone or the kids to monitor your stream so you can call screen each time you do that? Yeah, how? I'm still, I even tell myself not to do it. That doesn't help. Now I'm going to plug in something here. Where is it? There. So fire away any questions. If I missed anything now, I'm going to look at the current chat. Just plug in a little power thing there. So I'm going to look at the most recent @ones here now. So we've got Michael says, could you make a tutorial sometime on how to set up a display scene like you demonstrated on Magic Eden? Yes, the setup scene. If you look in my history, check out the cyberspace room, and also check out the Mech Revisited video and the Space Hangar. All of those 3 videos in my video history. Check those out because they're very, very close to how I set up the scene. One of the key things that I've done is screen space reflection. Ambient occlusion is very important as well. I've enabled that one. That's to get the fake sort of shadow areas behind here that you don't really see. So maybe so much, but if I disable it, can you see it? Okay, it's not too obvious in this one. Bloom is another important one to get that sci-fi look, I think. And then another key thing is that I'm running a blue light from the right here. So check this out. Got a strong blue light coming in from that angle and a strong red light coming in from this angle. And those two together really sort of get that cyberpunk look. Because if you disable the rendering here into solid, it looks quite simple and plain. So I'd say that a lot of the magic happens when you put the lighting on it and put the bloom effects and the ambient occlusion and the screen space reflections. Those are the main things. So would it look the same when it's been exported to Unity? Kafinovic is asking. And yes, you can get it quite similar. So as long as you use ambient occlusion as a post-processing effect in Unity, and you use the same method to get the bloom effect. So if you're using Universal Render Pipeline, enable bloom it's nearly enabled by default these days. In the traditional render pipeline, you have to go to post-processing and enable bloom. And you can get a very similar effect. Also screen space reflection. If you check out, actually this is very inspired. If you look again at the beginning of this video, the trailer that I made for Linewar, I've tried to replicate that look quite a lot in Unity.
Centurion.
So if you can see here, I'm running screen space reflection in Unity to get these reflections. And I'm using metallic for the surfaces here. I don't really have ambient occlusion on this one. I should really enable actually. Let's mute it.
2 developers and creators of Linewar.
So this is pretty similar, and it's going to be nice. I haven't combined the cavity effect, which I spoke about in a few videos ago. So when I'll be able to overlay the cavity effect and do a color dodge, combine it with screen space reflection and bloom and ambient occlusion, I think we're nearly to a point where it could look like this in Unity, which is pretty cool. Avocado Fire. There is so much to specialize in Blender. Should one decide? How should one decide? So much time to learn to see if you like it. Yeah, that's one of the things why I haven't actually done high poly modeling so much, is because of the time. Become good at high poly, I really want to perfect in that case, or learn low poly as much as possible first, because it's so much faster to move forward. And when you look at the advanced sculpting, I think it'd take a few years of dedication to get to like a really high quality level. So I really like to focus on the simplistic stuff, which is especially good for game development use and for mobile phones where you don't have so much polygon count. Stig Design, move back to 3ds Max? No, thanks. I love Blender. I'm always impressed by how amazing the Blender is as a free software. It's absolutely incredible. So Mia PC, try importing building into UEF5 and have Lumen enabled for real-time lighting with some ships with lights. Yeah, that'd be like nice. So when I think I'm in the most hectic like peak period of all time right now, because as Linewar is heading into Steam Next Fest and towards early access now in spring 2022. So that's happening right now, and I'm doing this freelance gig for all the buildings. Absolutely loving that. So I wish I could pour even more hours into it, because it's so much fun to create these things. So that's sort of peaking right now again. I've got to do that, and launching those characters as well, my own ones, the Imphenzia Misfits there. And all those three things are happening at the same time. So it's going to be a really, really crazy period. When that calms down, then I'm going to enjoy, because I really want to look at Unreal Engine 5, actually. I like so many things that I've seen about it. And first I was a little bit too thinking, like, I'm not going to be learning C++ and all that. But I want to see how far I can get to create something basic with the blueprints, and then just do whatever's necessary to do in C++. I think I should be able to just pick it up to do those particular things. One of the things that really impressed me with Unreal Engine 5 is that, and I mentioned that in a couple of videos ago, so sorry if this is a repeat for some people, but in Unity, for example, I wanted to fracture buildings. So I thought, okay, I hadn't looked at anything like that before. I've done some simple fracturing of buildings before. So I thought, okay, I'll load up a mesh, and I fractured it, and I imported it, and it takes too much work to manually fracture all the buildings, I was thinking, or not just buildings, but anything you wanted to do. And then I found a script to do that on the fly. So in Unity, I found a third-party GitHub library to do real-time splitting. It's based on some NVIDIA algorithm, I think. So it does real-time splitting to bring that into like chunkable objects that could be broken. All of those had to be attached with fixed joints. So there was an editor script that went through all the different combinations and then created fixed joints between them. And then you could start applying some physics and it'll start to break. Performance was mediocre, or at best, I think. But it was cool that it worked anyway. So I thought, that's going to be fun to make in a platforming game. It would be cool with a bit of a destructive level that maybe you could destroy everything that was in there. And then I thought, okay, so I wonder how you'd tackle this in Unreal Engine. And then when I looked at it, it's like, okay, it's built in pretty much into Unreal Engine. With the Chaos Engine, there's like a fracturing. You just pick, well, I haven't tested it yet, but when I saw the tutorials, I was like, okay, this is how it should work. You just pick what type of fracturing algorithm it should be and like a field effector. And then here you go. You can just destroy your building and have it crumble down. And I think that sort of nails down a little bit what my thoughts are at the moment between Unity and Unreal Engine. Unity is a really flexible tool that you could really create anything that you want, and it suffers a little bit from performance on that front, but it is very flexible. You can pick whatever end of pipeline, you can use the different packages. There's a lot of user content created to do these things. But what it seems like to me is that Unreal Engine have taken stuff that you want in a game that you don't really necessarily want to build yourself. It seems like they've packaged that in a better way to put it right in the game engine to be used already. So when I looked at that fracturing was just one of the examples. I've seen a lot of stuff when it comes to animating characters for as well. Unity's got a really capable rigging tool, a really capable animation flow, mechanism, animation, states machines. Everything's really, really cool. Very flexible to do everything, but it feels like, okay, 90% of the time you're going to want to animate a character, and without looking too much at Unreal Engine, it seems like they know that that's what you want to do a lot of the time, so it feels like it's prepped for having like a character to run around and do locomotion and doing all the jumps. I might be a little bit wrong, so that's why I want to look at Unreal Engine 5 a lot more now when it comes out, or even before now, I want to look at it. So maybe in a couple of weeks, if it calms down, I'm going to have a look at it. All right, let's check if there's any more at Imphenzia questions here. Oh, Stig Design, switch to Blender. Go for it. Take the leap. So Fox2 is asking, I have a school project to make a Unity 3D game, and I'm working in Blender to make my models. Your advice has helped me so much. You have the perfect tutorials for Unity and Blender. I wish I had more tutorials. So it's suffering a little bit now with the time. But my Unity tutorial is actually kicking off a little bit now. It's getting more views these days, so it'd be fun to do a new one maybe for Unity 2022. I have to breathe when I speak. I just speak. Tower, hey, I love your low poly tutorial and your new game Linewar. The color palette idea is a very good one. Thanks. Can you show me how to handle the metal workflow for Unreal Engine? Unfortunately, I can't yet because I need to learn Unreal Engine. So maybe I'll come back to that topic. So, sorry, I'm not even going to say Lajawi. About your Discord pings, why not set up some rules for those? So only the people who wants to get ping. Okay, well, there are some rules already, I think. You don't want to get the pings, I guess, or I've banned so a lot of people can't send everyone pings, of course, and stuff. It's only me that can do it. So I do that every Thursday and Friday if I'm streaming on a Friday instead. I'm not even going to switch to full screen camera now because I'll forget to switch it back. So let's have a look. We've got Valentine Grainer. How do you set together all those pieces? Kind of new in all this Blender stuff, but I love it. Yeah, okay, so what time is it? 48 minutes in, and so I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I'm working on right here on screen then. Just to double check, I'm going to make sure that I'm actually, yes, I'm sharing my screen now. Thank you. A little pat on my own back here. So I'm sharing my screen. I'm not going to talk loads of rubbish with, well, I'm going to talk loads of rubbish anyway, but at least. So the way I'm working with these buildings is that I've got a base model that I spend some time to set up, and these are, I work very much like I do normally. I do a lot of E to extrude, of course, S to scale everywhere. And then I've modularized it, so these can be combined in different ways with sub-collections like this. Here, for example, we've got some lights on the side. We've got these, this is like an art gallery thing, so it's got a lot of these fancy, sort of just to show that it's art in here. And these can be combined in every which way like this. And then there are some sub-collections as well here, which can control different stuff onto these signs here, for example. And that was one of the buildings. If I enable all this, disable this collection, jump into the next one. We've got this one is an auction house, some seating inside, and disable some sub-collections here. And disable these. So here's a base model like this. And when you enable here, for example, you got these big pole type of lights. I don't know, height mast lights. And then you can combine, here's like a space dock thing. Here's a seating for some auction with a big screen. Some bay windows up here and stuff. And these can be altered like this to create loads of different combinations, and then there are some sub-collections here. So this is how I structure a lot of my workflow when I model, and in the past I've spent a lot of time, I usually create a base building and I extend it with everything and I move it into the sub-collections, and then I automate everything with Python scripting to render it. So it goes through all the possible combinations of all of these. And it generates this animation. If I press space, you can see that it's rotating like this. So it's a bit blurry because it's doing it in real time here. And you can imagine now that you'll have one version like that looks like this. You'll have another version like looks like this. So it creates a whole bunch of different combinations. So my workflow a lot has been to create one of these at a time. And I'm shifting my workflow a little bit now because I'm learning to use this a lot now instead. So let's go back to frame 1. So if you haven't seen this before, this is the asset browser. So I've down here, if you're new to Blender 3.0, you can. I've split this my modeling window here, and in this dropdown, I've gone to asset browser. And then I've created a collection now, and I've just literally started to do this. So I'm going to spend all of the, all night tonight after my stream. Everyone's going to sleep. I'm going to do what I love a lot, and that's just to model stuff. It's stupid that I like it so much. I don't know how I can do it. Why do you like it so much? I don't know. I'll never know. But then when I model something, you can drag it into and make it an asset here. And I'm going to do that on the fly in a second here. But the nice thing, when you can categorize everything like this. So I've got entrances here. I've started to work on a bunch of entrances. I've got some extensions here, landing pad, lights. I've just literally started to use this now. And I'm starting to already liking it a lot. Stages, tables and chairs and stuff, trees, starting to work. These I haven't used yet. But the nice thing is when you model something like that, you can just drag it in like you do in Unity, for example. And then you can drag that tree in. And so I'm going to be putting some trees around the next tree or the next, and then you can scale these. So it's a nice way to do, to just have everything. Because what I used to do in the past, I'd go into one of my old collections like this, for example, and I'll pick something like this. Okay, maybe I want to reuse this sign now. So I'd Shift D to duplicate this one, or I'll filter it out here maybe and copy it, and I'll put it in like a kit bash collection, and then I'd bring that up with a whole heap in the same view, so it's difficult to figure out where they are and everything like that. So that's how. Instead of doing that, I really want to use this asset browser instead. And to create something. Let's make a real example here. Let's say I was working on entrances. Just before I started the stream, I decided to create some entrances. And as an example, let's minimize this a little bit. I'll create a new basic entrance here that I want to do. So I've got this usually in my scene. It's just so I know the height of a normal character and a 1 by 1 by 1 meter cube here. And here I'll do Shift A. I'll add another cube. I'll just bring it up here. And then I look at it. I render it. Sometimes I model in this one, which is the workbench render view, and sometimes I use the rendered view. Eevee is so fast that sometimes I like to model right in the rendered view here. And the first thing I need to do is just change my material, because by default it's not using my material. So I'll just switch that to material, and then I have to do my UV stuff. So tab into edit mode on the left here, A to select everything, scale 0, and then G, move it up to. I usually work a lot with just grayscale because the lighting, the blue and red light takes care of a lot of the stuff. So when I'm in here, I'll just do this. I did this in, I think it was my last video. I did a bit of a building because I started to get prepped to get my workflow going. So watch my last live stream as well if you're interested. But sometimes I also do this. I go down to that height, so I know I'm roughly by the floor, and then I do G, Z, and 4. Then I know that this is 4 meters high now. So maybe that's a good size for an entrance, and I move it into place here. And let's just make something here. So this is how I make a lot of my entrances. I do Control R, loop cut down to there. Control R, split it into 2. And then maybe we'll do Control R. And then here again, I do there, G, Z, and then 2.6 meters maybe. Sounds good. And then I'll pick this one. And maybe I'll do both of these. Just make it a little bit different, this entrance. Should we do something with a corner here maybe? That's a bit tricky for some people. So I to inset I do usually. Right click to snap it back. And then I'll do Alt S to scale it down. Okay, I've got proportional editing on or something. Okay, I didn't actually inset it. So Alt S to scale it down. When you scale it down like this, it usually creates, unfortunately, that it's maybe not really 100% aligned. So here's another trick I use all the time when I model. I go here, set this to vertex for my snapping. Then I want to move this one so it's on the same length as this, and trying to do it manually like this, not good, not fun. So don't do it. Grab this one, hold the control key, and then just pick the edge here. or the vertex if I'm on vertex now. And then now perfectly aligned there. So this is, I think it's a really nice way to do it. Same here. If I wanted to do out on the green axis here, I start to slide it on the green axis, hold the control key, snap it. And then I can do the same for here, this one, and here. There's some other tricks you can do as well. You can like pick these, scale Y 0. That's one way to flatten as well. Here, scale X 0. That's another way to flatten those. So there's a few things you can do to manipulate that. But never mind. I've got. So let's see what I'm gonna do the entrance here. So let's do a lot of the stuff I use here. Sci-fi always looks cool when you do shiny stuff. So I usually put like this type of color, either pink or magenta. I said that last time. It's like CJ days or 80s sci-fi stuff. Magenta and cyan, or pink and light blue, always works good with cyber stuff. So I love it. So usually I pick stuff like this, and then I'll grab this one. I'll do Shift-D to duplicate. And here I spend a lot of... Okay, I've got a slight angle here, so let's fix that as well. One way to do it, mark these, scale Z 0. That flattens it. Scale Z 0. So these are flat now. And then maybe this step is a little bit too high, so I move that down. And then here, to break it up a little bit, I could do Shift-D to duplicate. Scale X, scale Z, bring it into here. E to extrude this one. And here, maybe I'll do the same. I'll do Shift-D, scale Y, scale Z, move it in. E. So I figure out something like that. Maybe that looks pretty cool. And maybe we want something on the corner here. So I Shift-D to duplicate that one. E to extrude. There we go. All right, and then let's put some door handles on here. And usually I'll grab a face there, Shift-D to duplicate that one, scale it down. And then I just look at my character roughly to get the right size. E to extrude, L to select the linked, G, pick a dark color. And then usually I think I put these at about 1 meter high, so I move it down to the bottom, GZ1. So let's put, maybe here, it's 2 door handles, Shift-D. So that could be the entrance. And then let's put like a monitor here. So I'll do there. Scale, E to extrude, I to inset. Am I showing the stuff? Yeah, good. So there. And then sometimes you want to put like a big... And instead of doing like art on the actual screen, I do the same here. I just imagine that it's overexposed because you're watching like Times Square in the middle of the night and with a long exposure, maybe a little bit too long. So I like to do... I just overexposed the signs a bit like that. Pardon me. I should put some music on. There we go. Feels better. Turn down the volume a bit. Hopefully that's okay. I'm going to check out the chat in a second. I just want to see when I've finished doing this little entrance, I'm going to add it to the asset library there so you can see, or asset browser. So we have a sign. Usually you don't really want a sign to just hang in the free space, so I'll do like supportive stuff. And the nice thing is that you can just wing a lot of the stuff. That's what I really like about not modeling realistic or stuff. You can just go, okay, you need some form of support to be hanging there, so there's your support. And for the entrance here, we want to just put some creative features. It looks a bit bland when stuff, but I can imagine in the future there's a lot of like metal-y support things. And so if you look at Fifth Element or something like that, so scale, maybe there, E to extrude that on. So this is a bit like I did in my last video. That could look pretty cool. Bevel looks pretty cool as well. Sometimes I just pick these and press Ctrl B to bevel it straight in. And then repetition, again, I always gone about that. Shift-D to duplicate. Repetition always looks good. So that's starting to... Okay, so it's not so good when the support is penetrating through the actual screen. To go back to the drawing board on that one. And other stuff that I usually like to put on this stuff here is maybe here when they come in the morning or something, you need a little keypad. E to extrude. I think I did this for the last one too. G. And then if I do pink there, I usually do like a blue keypad instead. There. And then I'll put a lot of pipes. Maybe we'll put Shift-D on the side here. Again, clean air in the future. Very important. We have to see all the wind turbines polluted everything because they manufactured them in a weird way. So should have used nuclear. As long as it doesn't blow up, it's pretty good. Let's see, circle, scale. So we'll put some pipes here. E to extrude. Go for a different color. And Shift D, duplicate that one. Shift D. If I got any Neon Nexus people in here, just be aware that you might actually be getting this particular building with this front. If you do, it's in a live stream when it was made. So, extra value there. So, let's see, we've got something taking shape here. Control R, scale that down. That one's got some weird indentation on it. G. All right, so let's say one more thing. Let's put. Sometimes I also put a light source as well to if I don't rely just on this stuff. Sometimes I put a light source on, and I think I'll put some more stuff. Scale X. So the whole thing with these buildings, it's very futuristic and cyberpunky, and so I a lot of angles, just and bevels looks good. Also, the bevels look pretty good. Like here, it catches the red light's reflection. So if I pick this top one, for example, and I just bevel this one, usually you get a really nice, like that red line that shines and reflects it. So that's a tip as well. And then here, I'll do item sets. I do often multiples at the same time as well. I select a bunch of faces like this. And let's go here. Sometimes as well, I do panels. So let's do, I'll grab these. E to extrude, E to extrude, E to extrude, Control R, bring it. Here's as well, like item set 0.1. Oh, I should have had the screencast keys. So Alt S 0.1, some panels, item set 0.1, Alt S 0.1, Control R, item set 0.1. I 0.1, Alt S 0.1, get those bubbles there. So when I've got something like this, I do a naming scheme now, and I name mine with some clever stuff here. So I'll do @entrances : double, because it's a double entrance, 2 doors there with the 2 handles. Then I'll do entrances. Let's see, to see what I put on my other stuff here. So color, I need to set the color of the entrance here too. And it's pink, so entrance, @ entrance underscore color pink. Then we've got a screen here, so I'll do screen : big. These are some keywords that I'm adding for my own purpose and for the automation at some point later on. Screen, well, let's just do it there for now. And then I drag this into my entrances here. And now is, so if you haven't paid attention, pay attention right now, because here's actually where it's going to be a little bit different from, so this, so far it's just a modeling. But now, if I right click here and I go, you have to do it in the outliner. There are a couple of other places too, but you can't do it in scene as far as I know. But here, right click and do make asset, and it plops in here under unassigned. And then I can drag this one into my entrances. And now under entrances here, so if I try to get some more space here, 1080p feels so small when I'm running it on a wider ultra-wide screen, so it feels so tiny. I'm only modeling on a small piece of my screen at the moment. So now if this one's hidden, you can just pick stuff out here. So I'll do like an entrance there. Here's what I did before, very similar. And then you can start to assemble these like this. Maybe I'll do, it's going to be loads of entrances now, but let's drag this one in. Rotate Z. Stick that there. And I can start to assemble some. You wouldn't just have entrances, so I'm going to be adding a lot of different things here. For example, I had this skylight thing here. Oh, only supported in object mode. Okay. Not sure I'll be using this one, but the nice thing is that it aligns it a little bit like that too. So I can start to assemble. Don't want that one though. Lights. I started to do this for one of the previous ones with a light pole mast thing. And then trees I'm going to be putting on maybe this one. Even though it's not so sci-fi to have trees, is it? because they'll all be dead in the future. We have cut them all down and made IKEA furniture out of every single tree. So, I mean, it's not magic. It's just like an asset browser, but it's really nice that they've added it. My only criticism out of it so far is the one thing that I don't like, and I really want to have, like, let's say I created a light here. So Shift A, I add the light, a point light, because I do this quite often, and then I have to try to get some estate here, real estate on my screen. Let's say I put 2000 there or something. Change this to maybe an area light, change it to blue. So I fake some additional light coming out from this one here. Let's say I'd like to be able to bundle this one and the light into the asset browser. And coming from Unity, that's what I do all the time. I create something called prefabs in Unity, and that's a hierarchy of any type of object. And I really, really wish it worked like that. And I hate to wait for things when they're not implemented. And I don't even know if this is going to be implemented. But what I would have liked to see, Blender, not that anyone from Blender Foundation or anything is watching this or care about what I'm doing. Well, maybe they do, actually, because they're really cool people, to be honest. They fix bugs when you report them, which is awesome. Anyway, a lot of words for a little talk here. What I wanted to do is, for this one, I wanted to, for example, just maybe imagine you did Control P here. And I parented this. I wish this could have been treated now as a prefab in Unity, where I just right-clicked on this and made this as an asset, but it doesn't bring the light with it. Another thing maybe would have been to do it as a collection, but I don't really like having collections so much. I really want just to have a hierarchy, and I don't think you can make a collection into an asset. Should I try it? I should probably try it. I'll do Alt-P to unparent that light. Clear parent. I can even delete it for now. Save. Let's try to do a collection. I don't think I can do this. Right click. No, can't mark a collection as an asset, unfortunately. If you're wondering why I'm naming them so strangely here, it's in the NFT space, it's really important that stuff is tagged with attributes. So a lot of cool stuff that comes just that you can have some unique traits in them. So when I automate this, it processes this and creates like a lot of buildings in the end. Not thousands of them, because I have to model at least like 200 buildings or something to get up to about 2,000. But then the automation now with the Python script picks these attributes and builds the JSON data automatically nowadays, which is it's going to be a big improvement. It's a lot of hard work otherwise to try to get to retroactively go in and tag everything. If you look at something and go, ooh, this is some sort of a duct, or this is, and then you look at it and go, this is a bay door of some sort. So it's better to bake that into the names and then have that being part of the production pipeline instead. So let's check out the chat history here. Why not make a pack of lights? I guess I could. I could do, but I want them to be positioned with the thing. That's the whole key. I wanted to package the light so it's always in the right place with the right color and shape and everything. Dear Unreal Engineer, Imphenzia, if you can speak German, feel free to check out my Real Engine basic tutorial on YouTube. Dear Unreal Engineer, it would be great if I could give something back that way. I do speak a little bit of German. But so little. I mean, I did it in school a little bit, so I could get by in emergency. I actually went to like a World War II tour in Berlin on the Flakturm for the anti-aircraft tower in Berlin, and I thought I'd be able to get by with it, but I didn't actually understand all that much. But I know some of the basic stuff. Like I don't know why, but some basic stuff I know. So, but I mean, even if I don't understand it, I could probably look at some of the stuff that you've created to get an idea of how it works. All right, so we got Jim Engström, my childhood friend, and who I was meant to visit you this weekend, wasn't it? The one that's just passed. Tested, so boring facts. Imphenzia tested a very early Blender and made a Canon. We could not modeling and get smooth surfaces. We added quads, so it was over 2 million polygons. Yeah, maybe we should have just enabled smooth faces. So they're looking forward to Linewar 2. Great, nice to hear it. So am I. I'm really excited about releasing the game now. It's annoying that everything's so much fun to do. I really love working on Linewar. I really love doing these type of building stuff. I really love to work on my animated Misfits characters, and so much fun. And I love everything else around all of this stuff. So I just wish there was more time, because I have to start to scale things down. I think when I get over this peak period, I need to ramp it down. It's taking too much time now. I don't have enough time to yesterday was nice because it was my son's birthday, but even when he fell asleep, I'd have to go down and get started. So I'm really looking forward to trying to calm things down a little bit. Fox 2, Imphenzia, is there a way to cut one face onto an object instead of using loop cut? Oh yeah, there's you could do bevel. I don't know why I don't actually use it so often, but here, if I wanted to cut a hole in here, let's delete some of these again. So you could just do here, I'll grab that one, Shift E to duplicate it, scale it up, and here move it in, E to extrude. I don't know why I don't do that. I mean, when I did this, I often do it manually, but I mean, you could just use a bevel. So I did P to separate this into a separate object, and then I think I've enabled bool tools, haven't I? So if I pick that one and that one, either you could go here to the modifier and add modifier and boolean and do difference. Okay, so which one did I pick it on? This one. So pick the second object. I think this is the part I don't like, the workflow where you have to go and pick different things and you go, okay. I mean, this is the most basic thing. Why didn't that even work? Intersect. Okay, so it's the other way around. So I'll take that away. This is probably why I don't do it so often. So I'll pick that one instead. Add modifier. I think there's even a shortcut for that, isn't it? Boolean. Pick the second object. Picker. There. Intersect. I'm even fail at the most basic of basic operations here. Okay. Control Shift minus. Let's enable bool tools, because I never ever do it manually like that. So if I go to add-ons, bool tool, here we go. Right, Shift, Control Shift. Why isn't it deleting it? That's so strange. Take that away. Control Shift mine. Oh, there we go. Okay. So here's my advice then. If you want to do it, I should really start using it this way as well. So I've got this one. I wanted to carve something out. I'll do, okay, Shift D to duplicate, scale, bring it in to where I want it, E to extrude it. Then you have to press L to go for the linked, P to separate into a separate object. And then now I enabled bool tools. So you can just click on, can't remember the order now, this one, hold Shift, click that one, Control Shift minus on the keypad. And then you've deleted the section here. So it creates n-gons and stuff, but I wouldn't say that that's a problem necessarily. So I think someone mentioned in the chat before about box cutter. I think that's a paid tool, right? Isn't it? But it'd probably be worth paying it if you want to work with that flow where you do a lot of cutting. I'll probably look at the box cutter tool, because it basically works all the time by just cutting and cutting to create heart-shaped objects. But for me, I don't know why I prefer it, but I like to have the manual control over how I do this. So I often just do like I to inset and E to extrude it. Maybe it's just because it's faster. The only tricky thing I would say is when you do across the borders like this, because that's when I do I to inset, Alt S to scale. I think it's just faster for me to do it this way, even if I have to do this extra work compared to that separate into a separate object. Like when I'm in the flow, basically I like to probably work like that apparently. So let's have a look. What's smooth faces? Yeah, if you have a corner like this, I always nearly work with hard faces when I do this one. But we can take this pipe, for example. So see how they're shining like there's a pan. Oh, that's meant to be black. There we go. So I often, for the sci-fi stuff, I like to keep it so that it is very boxy like this with flat shading. But smooth shading is if I do L here and I go to face and then I do shade smooth, that becomes like a round pipe instead. So, but I nearly always like to keep mine on flat shading because I like the low poly look. Yeah, box cutter. I'll have a look at it, actually. I will check it out. So we got Daniel Gall. How did the magenta... how you did the magenta lights? How you have all these colors on the left every time? Yeah, I've mentioned that a lot. If you check my channel history, there's a lot of work on that. But this is a texture just with all the colors. So it's not... Blender doesn't have like a color palette or anything. So this is literally a render texture with that I created in Photoshop by just creating a lot of gradients. And then if you check, you can download it in my description, and I've got a lot of videos on it. Check out my low poly, learn low poly modeling tutorial. I go through it. So instead of unwrapping something like that and painting all the surfaces, instead of unwrapping, I just move the UVs for that one onto like a specific thing, and it includes these shiny surfaces there. All right, so already been on for 1 hour and 20 minutes, 27. Woo! How do you get the neon effect? Okay, so in Eevee, very important if you want the neon effect to enable this one, the bloom. And if I do bloom, you can change stuff, threshold, and here the intensity. So that, oh yeah, and I should mention it doesn't work just out of the box. On the shading here for my material, sorry if I'm sounding like a broken record for all the people that I've showed this about a million times. But I've got this emissive texture here with colors down here at the bottom. So most of the time it's black when I put my UVs, but if I put them down here, it plugs into the emission here. And the further to the left I go, the stronger it is. And then it's a multiplier here with an emission of 20. So if I had 200 here, for example, it would be even stronger. So it just grabs those. And this way I can control the here. If I want it to be less glowy, I'll move it to the right in the cell, and if I wanted to shine more, I move it to the left, and it changed colors. I can do pink, yellow, anything. And I'll be able to show in 2 weeks. I can show about 3,000 of these buildings in a big city. It looks really cool when they're all together. Actually, super excited to be able to show that one. Have you looked at the bool tools that come with Blender? Is this lagging? I've just been speaking about that yet. So bool tools is this one, bool tool. Enable that one. You've got the quick stuff. What's cool with is the hotkeys, I guess, that you can do Control Shift minus on this numpad there to get it deleted straight away. All right, let's have a look. So at me if you have any more questions that are directed directly at me. So see what else. So I can see myself, I think I've spent about maybe 1 hour to create the stuff that I've already got in here now. So when I create a whole bunch of entrances now, I'm going to create, I've got a big list of things that I'm going to be working off to create probably about, well, as many assets as I can here, all night tonight, all day tomorrow, and then I'm just going to be assembling it into loads of different buildings. Should be fun. Do you have any sci-fi skyscrapers? Nope, I haven't done any yet. Well, I did one in my 10-minute modeling building, but most of the buildings I'm doing now are about this size. Again, I'll show the ones that are on Magic Eden here. So I haven't really gone past this. What I like to do a lot of work is stuff like glowy stuff like these laser beam I like to do, and a lot of glass works I like to do, and shiny stuff I like. Here's another golden tree one. So light, I'd say, and the emission is what does a lot of the contributes a lot to the end result. Carl Hinton, do you have a recommendation for material creation in Blender to Unreal workflow phase? Unfortunately not, because I haven't done it to Unreal, but I know that my texturing isn't working out of the box. When you create, I think it's because I create my UVs infinitely small. So you can see if I zoomed in on this one, it's like an infinitely small, and it works perfectly fine in Unity, but I don't think it works in Unreal. So you'd probably need to, in order for it to work there, if I do L here, so everything is on that color. I think what you'd have to do in Unreal Engine is reset the UVs again, and then scale them down. But instead of 0, like I put them infinitely small, but you'd probably have to go like 0.01 or something. And then you could probably scale them down even more. Unfortunately, you get a little bit of a gradient that way. So I think you'd have to make it small enough so you don't really pay attention so much to the gradient. So that's one. And I just realized that you could actually make it a little bit cool. Sometimes I should mention here. Here's a trick. From the side here, I could do reset the UVs. And then here I'll do UV, instead of reset, I'll do project from view. Then I get the actual shape of it. And then you can use gradients here, which is pretty cool. So now it might be, yeah, it's vertical. So scale X. Scale it down. So you can have them shifting a little bit towards the bottom. You don't miss, so you get a little bit of a gradient effect there, which could be good. And you could split them. I don't really split them like this, but there's a theoretical way that you could actually, but you'd have to find a perfect spot on the texture there that you'd like, so probably wouldn't use that so much. But let's go back to where I was. Control Z. There we go. All right, Mia PC, the Unreal expert here. Yeah, 0.01 works, and in Unreal 4.5, you have to set the texture to 8-bit data mode. Okay. Right, interesting. Let's see, what was I going to say? In Unreal Engine, in Unity, what breaks is UV light maps, because light mapping really requires that you'd have. So if I take this one, for example, do L for everything here, make everything there. And normally when you unwrap something, you have to do something like this. Either you'd manually have to create all the seams and stuff, or you could just do smart project. Okay, and that lays it out like this. And normally, this is how you'd normally work with UV mapping. You draw like different surface, instead of having all these gradients, of course. You'd draw like a hatch or something, or so it obviously gives you a lot of control to draw things like rust patches and things like this, which I can't really do with my technique. And this is also what the shadow mapper uses. If you have static objects that you want to bake lighting in Unity or Unreal Engine, it needs to have a layout like this so you can render the shadows onto here for some additional performance. So in Unity, however, you can just, there's an import checkbox when you've imported your model called, I think, generate UV channel for shadow mapping or something like that. And that just automatically generates a new one and lays it out. So you don't have to worry about that one. It works really good. So it's not really a problem for Unity users. I'm not sure if that's an issue with the Unreal Engine. Yes, probably to near it. It's not so important for this one. When I had the 1 pixel texture, it's really important to have on the shading. Let's see. Usually here, you do closest usually when you do, but since this texture is a little bit bigger, it's not too much of a problem to have linear actually. All right. So Edward is asking if I do geometry nodes. I did have a look at it, but I felt that it was, when I looked at it about half a year ago, it lacked enough features. It was good to create maybe sci-fi boxy like patterns and spawning a lot of boxes onto surfaces. But I think it was lacking a lot of features that I'd need to make better use out of it. But I'm excited to see what it brings. Since I like procedural generation, I think I'll really love it when it's going to mature a little bit more to be more creative. I wanted to have a look at Houdini actually, because I believe they do it really, really good, but I haven't had a chance yet. All right, godnatt Arvid. Well, I said it in Swedish. Good night. Thanks for staying. I'm actually gonna round this stream off now. I think been on it for taking up 1.5 hours of your Friday already. So I hope it gave you a little bit of an insight to the asset browser. So I'm going to be using that a lot more. Maybe I'll learn some more tips and tricks that I'll be able to share. But for something like this where you quickly just want to start to assemble stuff, I think it's a really neat way to work. And it's just saves the workflow. You can also, these are saved in the current file, but you can save blend files into the location of your user library. So when I'm done with this one and move on to the next Blender file, I'm going to copy this one to there, and hopefully that'll just combine everything as long as I name them everything the same. I think they should all show up in the same one, which is pretty cool. Okay, so light maps are coming automatic. Okay, that's good. Good to hear that. They're Unreal Engine goods. Section 3, great stream. Thanks. I hope you liked it. And sorry again for doing some stream where I showed my face. It's and not only did I show my face, I showed myself looking down onto my mouse or keyboard onto the screen. Terrible, terrible. Such mo placed. You're joining now. I'm just about to finish the stream, but it's nice to see you, of course. I can't see you, but it's nice to see your name. I wonder where. Yeah, so a few of the usual suspects showed up. That's cool. All right, next week we're back to Thursdays, of course. This was just off the random thing because we went to the cinema instead. So sorry for postponing it. Mr. Strange, tjena. Nothing to stress about. True. All right, folks. That's it. Hope you have a great weekend now. And it's already the weekend now. So have a beer, have a coffee or a glass of saft or whatever it's that you drink. Eat an ice cream boat, glassbåt if you're in Sweden. Relax, and I'm going to be modeling billions. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to be modeling a lot of stuff here. If you wanted to check out my Imphenzia Misfits, and that's on imisfits.io, because the first wave of 500 Misfits are being released on Sunday. I'm not sure about the timestamp exactly just yet. And they're only they only going to be possible to mint them if you're a golden ticket holder at the moment from Unlock DeFi and Neonexus. But they're going to be released more to the general public later on. So the future of those, just to recap, it's going to be super cool, I'm hoping, because those characters, I really want to help other game developers, and especially stuff in my Discord channel, so it's Discord server. So if you're not part of the Discord, make sure you join there, because at some point I'm hoping to be able to host like a game dev competition using the Imphenzia Misfits. That's the whole idea, to be able to share and get other people to learn how to use the technology and get a jump start in the future of game development. Because in 5 years, mark my words, you're going to have a real benefit if you can implement and use blockchain authentication and stuff for games and for your in-game purchases and stuff. So if you're looking for a job a few years down the line, when everything's matured a little bit more and people aren't freaking out so much about that something new and scary is coming, then you're going to have a head start. So make sure that you check out the Misfits project. And like I said, it's going to be a reference game that's being developed by a professional Swedish game development company. It's a bunch of people, some really skilled, smart people that are creating some really cool, balanced RPG-like things with these characters. So I'm excited to show a little bit about that with the prototype. That's going to act also as a reference project and playable, of course, and it's going to be the official Imphenzia Misfits game. But then opening the doors to anyone who wants to develop games using the Misfits characters. They'll come with a lot of animations. Everything's interoperable. So it's going to be probably a community that should be able to help with the implementation of them and everything like that. So it's going to be exciting, of course. That's it. Why not keep up a stream on a Friday? No, I don't think I want to keep it. Thursday's my day. It's always been my day. Ever since I did, let's see, Thursdays used to be my day when I did Live for Speed online racing. Every Thursday I used to race something called Torsdagsracet. And we did that. I think it went on for like 20 seasons or something like that. It was so much fun. If you search for Torsdagsracet, we did some, it was every Thursday we got together and raced. And I'd like to keep that tradition of having a special thing on Thursday. So ever since I started the 10-minute mulling challenge, that's became my day. So do you have a Discord? Yeah, check out the Discord in the description, of course. Just join there as well. There's a lot of people. I've been really struggling to find the time to be in at that moment. I'm in like 10 Discord servers. Linewar Discord, Unlock DeFi, Misfits Discord. I'm in RTS Game Development Discords. I'm in, PR Discord for the PR campaign for Linewar. I'm in Discord servers for, I don't even know what type of Discord servers I am in anymore. So many things going on. But you can check it out. All right, how many tries will Imphenzia do to log off today? Well, I should actually try now. Let's see, it's annoying. Let's see, avocado fire. It's annoying for you, but it's funny and gives you character to us. Ha! Good. It's nice to be able to be myself on a stream. So I sit. Do I sit like this when I'm on my own? I don't think so. I'm usually too concentrated, so it's actually nice to lighten up a little bit. See you Thursday, and then 15 minutes later still. Yeah, I'm gonna do it again, aren't I? I'm gonna see how long I can procrastinate there. What are you doing? Check out the you'll have to check out the replay. Vitally TV. All right, that's it. I'm gonna search for the end stream, and take care, everyone. See you next Thursday. Don't forget that, and have a great weekend. Have a great week, and I'll see you then. Bye for now. That's it. End.